Good evening and welcome to the Man United Agenda. And as you know, it's 9 o'clock because it's the World Cup and it's semi-final day today. Hope you enjoyed the game, but now you can tune in to the Man United Agenda with Pat, Kalula, and welcome back to Dan as well. Welcome to the Man United Agenda. It's cold, as you can see. I've still got my scarf on. I'm not prepared to take it off just yet, but I'm sure things will warm up during the show, and I'll be able to strip down to my vest again. So, guys, how are we doing? It's World Cup semi-final day. Unfortunately, England aren't there. We're going to talk about, well, I've spoken to Pat, Dan, Kalula. We're coming to you in a minute now about the World Cup and England's exit. But, yeah, tonight, Argentina played Croatia in the semi-final, and I think last time I heard it was 3-0 to Argentina. Yeah. It looks like they're headed to the final. Pat, just quickly your thoughts on the semi-finals, what you've seen today and tomorrow. Prediction for tomorrow, please.
The way the World Cup's been going so far, I expected Croatia to win tonight, even though I'm all for Argentina to win it because I'd like to see Messi lift that title. But yeah, look, they were clinical in front of goal tonight. Alvarez, I take my hat off to him. It's not on my head, but I'll take it off to him. He had 2 chances that I've seen. And man, he took them away. The first one he was like a little Irish dancer. He got his legs that higher in the air for the reaction. So fair play to him. That's all I'll say.
Dan, welcome back, man.
Hello.
Good to have you back.
Back.
I'll tell you what, Dan, I haven't spoken to you about England going out. I mean, that's been a major talking point throughout the week. 2 questions for you. Are you gutted? Are you hurt? And are you sort of raging about the referee? I mean, what are your thoughts about the game overall, losing to France?
Honestly, I thought we were the better team, in all fairness. I feel like that Tchouameni's goal was, even though it was an incredible goal, it was a very good shot. I just feel like England were the more dominant team, and I feel like that France weren't at their full force. So I think if they had like the likes of Benzema and Nkunku and some of their other stars that they're currently missing, I feel like Pogba and Kante, you could say, I feel like it would have been a much more difficult game. But I felt like England had a few good chances, and the referee was just well, it's just the ref is the ref, isn't it? So I don't really know how I felt about it. I wasn't gutted because I expected it, because I'm just so used to this England side letting us down. And in all fairness, we can't be annoyed because it's, you know, we got gutted after the Euros final. We got gutted again with this World Cup. And I personally think Southgate's time is up, but that's just my opinion.
Well, that is a questionable decision. I think, yeah, he's well supported. He's done well. It's the best we've done in years, isn't it? Kalula, over to you. Kalula, I haven't spoken to you about this World Cup and everything else. Obviously, England have gone out against France. You can either talk about that or talk about the semi-finals. I mean, what's the topic?
Well, for me, I'm good. Croatia hasn't won. Because that for me, that's what I wanted. I didn't want to see Messi hold the trophy. Sorry about that. For me, I am still livid with the decision making and the adaptation of Gareth Southgate. He needs to get out, because for me, how can you have such late subs? How can you bring Sterling, Rashford, and Grealish on so late when the players were doing the exact same thing at the beginning of the match? There was, what is the point in having a manager? This isn't B&M. This is the England team. You've got to make decision making. So for me, I know that was England's chance, but don't worry about it. The women will win it next, so it's all good. Pederinos.
Well, the women seem to be represented. They won the Euros, didn't they? I think that was a big achievement and put a bit of shame on the men's game. But just going back, let's talk about this management and key decision making. I mean, Southgate was never really smashed it at club level. Is he the right man for the job? Because Dan was touching on that. All 3 of you. Where do you think England should go from here after this tournament now? Because he's scheduled to play on for another 2 years in the Euros. Do you think Southgate, because in the Euro final against Italy, even Andy was saying the other day he was indecisive, too defensive. We had opportunity there to win it, and he wasn't decisive enough. And then, like you're saying, Kalula, maybe the subs, everyone was blaming about Saka coming off when he was giving the guy the fullback hell. Do you think there's any issues about Southgate decision making and maybe not being a top class manager, guys? Dan, Kalula, and Pat, come on, fire away.
you want me to go first? I'll be short and sweet.
Yeah, feel free, Pat.
If Harry Kane had scored and England were through to the next round, if he had made it through to the next round, a small portion, or maybe 50% of England fans would have been, he's the Messiah. He's the best thing since sliced bread. And they wouldn't have been giving him half the stick he deserves. Now, if you want the opinion of an Irishman, of Gareth Southgate as the English manager, why would you make such an inexperienced manager your manager for a tournament that only comes around every 4 years? That's my opinion.
Dan, Kalula, what do we do with Southgate? Is he not good enough? Would you hire him for United?
Nope.
Don't hire him for the under-7s. He's not got a chance. I don't know. Southgate, I feel like he couldn't even get a job in the Premier League in my eyes. I feel like he'd be a low-rate championship side, maybe. And I just don't think that he's good enough. And this is the best England squad you could really say we've had in years. And it's being wasted. It's like having a Ferrari in your garage and you just drive your feet everywhere. Like, there's just no point. It's just sitting there and it's not being used to its full potential. And I feel like that the England side, attacking wise, is absolutely phenomenal, and it's a defensive side that actually lacks the full quality. And then Southgate wants to play defensive, so it frustrates me. And I said to my girlfriend and family before the World Cup started, I'm not going to get involved. I'm not going to get hyped up. And then, as I do every single 4 years, I get hyped up for the World Cup and end up in disappointment as always. So it is frustrating, but it's been a great World Cup, so I'm not really disappointed as well, because the amount of teams that, like Morocco, of what they've done so far, Croatia of how far they've got, Argentina going to the final tonight. It's been a great World Cup, with like Germany and Spain also being knocked out earlier on. I just think it's been a great World Cup.
All right, for me, it's short and sweet for me. His decision making, his lack of adapting, and the late subs for me is no. It's really funny that a defender for Villa doesn't know that he shouldn't have got the job in the first place. And I'm sorry to say that, but that's the thing. He can't think. He can't think quick enough. How are you playing? What was the analysing going on at halftime? So for me, it's Southgate. You need to just jog on.
Fair enough. Quite brutal, but that's fair. Guys, let's don't forget about GMS, that's Global Mapping Surveys. They are our sponsors. And yes, the Man United agenda are that big, so huge. We've got a sponsor now. And they assist architects, property developers, and construction companies all over the country. They offer a wide range of services, such as setting out topographical surveys, 3D laser scanning, and monitoring. Check out the link, guys, in the description. That's Global Mapping Surveys. And here we go. We're going right in first. And first of all, I just want to give a quick big tribute to Jimmy Murphy, because Jimmy Murphy has been selected to have a statue outside Old Trafford. Now, guys, I didn't really know much about Jimmy Murphy, so I'm just going to do a little summary here to read out about it. So United have announced there's been a lasting tribute for legend Jimmy Murphy at Old Trafford next year. Now, Murphy was a key figure at the club in developing the Busby Babes, and he was a caretaker manager for 22 games following the Munich air disaster in '58, playing an absolutely pivotal role in helping the club come to terms and recover from the tragedy. Jimmy Murphy was one of the most important figures in the history of the great club, they're saying here. He was not only Sir Matt Busby's chief coach and then assistant for 25 years, but perhaps most importantly, led us through our darkest period at the club. In those terrible days after the Munich tragedy, Jimmy was the man who held his club together and built a team that reached the FA Cup final. No matter the result, it was a remarkable achievement to be even at Wembley, something that on the 6th of February 1958 seemed inconceivable. It's fitting that this wonderful statue should be unveiled on May the 3rd, the date of the final against Bolton Wanderers at the Stretford End, overlooking the land where Jimmy used to train the Busby Babes. It will add to the existing trophies of St. Matt Busby, Alex Ferguson, and United Trinity, who are the Trinity guys?
You exposed me. I don't know.
Bobby Charlton, George Best, Dennis Law. Come on, guys.
Dennis Law. Oh God, you got
lost me there. I was too busy looking at something else.
I actually didn't talk because he said Pat.
Yeah.
All right. See how Kalula's smart. Dan, come on.
Mate,
What are they saying in the comments? Are you embarrassed, guys, by what we just heard? There no one knew what a Trinity was.
Okay.
Come on, Pat.
Anyway, what are your thoughts on that, guys? I mean, I didn't know, to be fair, when I've just read that out, and obviously that was a massive time in our period where we lost the majority of our squads. We were on our way to like Champions League and probably dominated like Real Madrid would dominate with such great players. And this guy was unheralded, really. I didn't really know about him. Heard about Matt Busby and the other guys. But yeah, clearly they're showing a lot of respect for this guy who's obviously done a lot of work behind the scenes.
So Jimmy led us to the first FA Cup final after the Munich air disaster. So that's what he's most notably for, amongst other things. Look, if anybody's uneducated on Jimmy, there was a movie made in 2011 called United. And David Tennant plays Jimmy Murphy in the movie. And it's probably the best you'll get without talking to locals in Old Trafford to find out as much as you can about Jimmy Murphy. So if you aren't up to scratch on it, watch that movie and you'll get it. He pulled all the strings and kept the club together while Matt Busby, the Busby Babes, and everything else was falling apart around them. So this is where so much praise comes from Jimmy Murphy.
There you go. So we're a different generation, but we have to recognise the legends of our club, and Jimmy Murphy, most certainly. Don't you think, Dan?
Pardon?
Yeah, Jimmy Murphy. I mean, this is a wonderful story about how he's saved us. I mean, we could have collapsed, as TalkMU was saying backstage about after the air disaster. He kind of glued us together and kept us together.
Yeah, I mean, he's a very big. Well, he's very admired in our fan base, and I kind of feel quite embarrassed now that I didn't really get that question right, to be honest. But he's very admired in our fan base, and that statue is well deserved, because if it wasn't for him and the others who banded Manchester United together after the Munich disaster, then we might not all be sitting here being Manchester United fans right now. So it's crazy. So Jimmy Murphy deserves that statue in my eyes. So, it's just well deserved, I think.
Yeah. I'm still embarrassed the fact that Omundi caught me researching other stuff while he was talking on the internet, and then I didn't even get the question, and I'm sitting there like that. I have no clue what he said.
You're winging it. Don't worry. You got away with it. Kalula, Jimmy Murphy. I mean,
what I will say is, one of the things I will say, my dad's birthday is the 6th of February, and my dad was born in 1957. So this is literally a thing for our family. We always take the minute silence, and we always realize how respectful this is. Murphy did so much for us in a time which was crucial, a time where we could have been completely done. So I am so respectful to see that statue go up, because sometimes when you've got a good team like us, or well, when our team is good, we forget about the people that really touched our heart. He went into the time where it was, even my dad remembers, because my nan's a massive fan as well, remembers the Bugsby Babies, remembers the sad times, and we always have our silence. He does deserve his statue, and I'm so happy that he's got it.
Yeah, most definitely. So tribute, that'll be the 3rd of May, guys, next year, the opening of the statue to add to the Trinity, guys. Yeah, that's a quiz question for your Christmas quiz, Dan. Anyway, let's go to the comments. We'll say hi to Brush. Everyone give Brush a wave. Brush is brilliant. He gives us so much support, and he's one of these community guys, a bit like Jimmy Murphy, actually. Can unite all the community channels. So big up to you, Brush, and all the good work you do. And big up to Bobby. How you doing? He's giving us a fist pump and some love, blue love. We like that. Pat Lawless is here as well. He says respect to kids.
It's called Pat thinks I'm Simon Gal. Or is that you?
Guys, that's me. Big up to Prince of Maine. Now, Prince of Maine is a guy called Ollie. He works with Column on the other channel, which is our sister channel. If you're subscribed to Man United Agenda, you should be subscribed to Sports FTB Sports Network, Full-Time Banter Sports Network, and go and check them out. And he's an Arsenal fan. His name's Ollie, a musician as well. Done a Christmas song, done a World Cup song as well. So top bloke. Big up to you, Prince of Maine. That's Ollie. And obviously big up to our very own Mark Edmund, all the way from Oz. How you doing, Mark? He's saying here, anyone here, not signed up to be a member, get involved, join us. Thank you very much. And one of our favourites, Stumpy Candle Top. How you doing? He said, good evening, guys. Hope you're doing well, Stumpy. Kalula is spitting facts, said Mark Edmund. This is from earlier on, Kalula. Anything? Yep. Well, I agree. I think we agree. So Vincent saying, hi, guys. And the Brummy, that's you, Kalula. Gives lots of love out here. Mark Edmund, there was a great analogy there said by Dan earlier in the show, which TalkMU is probably taken aback by because he's the man with the analogies. He's saying England has a Ferrari with a pensioner driving it. TalkMU, by the way, he's saying here, it's not a case of is Southgate good enough. It's more a question of can he be braver going forward, because he's done very well, to be honest. So there you go. Big, giving a bit of clarity there. I'm going to say hi to Jay Thanky. I think that's how you pronounce your name. Big up to Jay. You're looking like you're in a nice location. It's cold here. You're making us jealous with that lovely sea view you got. He's probably on a rich yacht or something. So big up to you. He's saying he's at risk of adverse, scared to make game changes, but above all picks his favourites regardless of their form. So we know he's referring to Southgate there. And that's also true. So there's a lot of arguments formed against Southgate. Vincent's asking, is Kalula doing you got your Christmas decorations there in the background? Mark Edmund saying, Pat, one of them is Irish.
Talking about Georgie, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Vincent saying Jimmy Murphy was the last Wales manager to get the World Cup this year. Jimmy Murphy. So, because they got to the World Cup in 1958, didn't they? So was he involved in that? I don't know. I'd like to know more about him. Vincent's also saying, I'm friends with Jimmy Murphy's grandson. We met through the Duncan Edwards Foundation. So Vincent, man, Brummy, our very own Brummy Vincent, doing enough things for the Man United Football Club. Knows a lot. Murphy pulled us back from the edge, says Mark Edmund. That's for sure. And finally, Kalula, this from Vincent. Have you ever been Duncan Edwards' grave and statue in Dudley?
It's in Dudley. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Dudley. Sorry.
Okay. There you go. There you go. All right. We're going in. First subject, guys. First subject we're going to talk about is this guy here, right back contender. His name's Malo Gusto. He's from Lyon. There's been a lot of reports today, especially. We've spoken about him before in the past, but they're playing in the Dubai tournament at the moment with Liverpool, AC Milan, and Arsenal. Lyon, and been getting some licks, really. But Lyon, a great club for producing young players. And this guy, I think Pat's going to tell us a little bit about him. But before we do, I'm just going to whack this up. And it says here, Man United find big solution for £34 million claim. Ronaldo ally could follow him out the door. So the ally would be Dalot. Man United are pressing ahead in their attempts to sign Lyon fullback Malo Gusto to help them solve their issues at right back, according to reports. It has become clear that Aaron Wan-Bissaka is now surplus to requirements at Old Trafford after a disappointing spell since signing from Crystal Palace for £50 million in 2019. He was their first choice right back for most of last season until interim boss started playing Diego Dalot more, and the new manager, Ten Hag, has kept with the Portuguese international in his side. Dalot has produced some really good performances for Man United this season, but there's a worry that they could soon lose him with his contract running out at the end of the season. Man United have 1 year option on the 23-year-old, which they are very likely to take up, but there are rumours Barcelona could attempt to take advantage of the uncertainty by signing him in the summer. A report yesterday called Dalot a main ally of Cristiano Ronaldo. They're really good friends who left the club by mutual consent after his controversial interview with Piers Morgan was aired. There were claims that the Man United squad were unhappy with the explosive interview, but Dalot and others sided with Ronaldo. So this is about Gasco. We're going to get this guy, apparently. He's from Lyon. Tell us more, please, Pat, about this young man.
Okay, so what I'm liking about this young man, before I get to any information about him, this is my kind of signing that I think we should be going for. It's the Malacia type signing again. He's not still in the youth setup, but he's not ready for the first team. He's in between, and it's kind of what we need at the moment because our youth players are too young for the first team. But we need to give Dalot somebody who's going to step in, who's going to be able to share the load, but not take the full responsibility from Dalot. His price tag is going to come in healthy as well. Currently sitting at about 15 million. Now, cheap. This is what I like to see. You know, not too much pressure coming in. He can play his games. If he makes a mistake, you can take him back out with Malacia, bring him back in again. 19 years of age. He can play, right? This lad plays at right back. He can play a centre back on the left hand side. He can play a centre back on the right hand side. He can also play on the right wing. He's a little bit of a John O'Shea. He can play everywhere, but it sounds of what I'm telling you so far. But what I do like about him, he reminds me of, I don't know if you remember Zé Roberto, the Brazilian, do you, Omundi? He used to play for Leverkusen. He went from Leverkusen to Munich, And I used to love him because he was like a right winger who was too good to play right back. And this what this young lad kind of reminds me of. The most recent person that I would compare him to would be Cucurella, who left Brighton for Chelsea. He's that kind of explosive right-sided player who's a kind of a right winger playing right back, but he's not afraid to get stuck in, has an air of confidence about him, not afraid to play the ball around. For 19 years of age, his weakness at the moment, what I've been highlighted is concentration, but he's 19 years of age. He's always going to have that issue starting off. So if you bring him in, train him up, he'll be ready to replace Diogo Dalot in a couple of years' time. That's the way I look at it, and he'll be sharing the load. That's
some great information there. Dan, you've been doing your homework. What do you know about this guy from Lyon?
Well, pretty much. From what that Pat hasn't already said, he played, I believe it was 30 games for Lyon last season in the league, and he played, I believe it was 7 in the Europa League for them. So he had a pretty good, long season for Lyon. So apart from what Pat's already said, I feel like he's a great signing. He's the Malacia type, but just right-sided, where he can challenge a lot. And what's good about this young lad is that he's the same age as me. He's 19. But,
who you call him young?
I call him young, but it's with you guys. You always call him young. I just jump on the bandwagon. So, but anyway, so yeah, he's a very talented young lad, and you know what I mean. I'm not calling him young lad.
It's all right. It's all right. It's in your head now. Just keep going.
You know what I'm trying to say.
You want to say he has no grey hair like me and Omundi.
Yeah, he's a very talented young player, right?
With no grey hair.
Yeah, he's got a lot of potential. And what's great about him is that because he's only 19, is that he's not. If he was 26, I'd be concerned, because like Denzel Dumfries, how Ten Hag wanted him in the summer. He won't come in and demand first-team football. He'll come in and take his chances when he gets them, like Malacia does. And if the lot drops form, and then you can give this young lad his chances, like Malacia. Then if he drops off in form, then like Pat said, you can just bring the lot back in. So it's a very not risky type signing. He's one for the future. He obviously only being 19, and he's got a lot of promise. And the only thing is that he just needs to work on. But with this Ten Hag system of how he wants to play, that's why I feel like Aaron Wan-Bissaka is being left out of the United squad and being sold, because this, how do you pronounce his name? Is it Goetze? No. What's it called?
Malo Gusto.
Where am I getting Goetze from? But anyway, Gusto. The fact is with Gusto is that he can defend and go forward, like Pat was saying, where he can create, he can go forward like a right winger playing at right back. Wan-Bissaka's issue is that he's a great defensive fullback, but going forward, he's like a fish out of water. He's terrible. So I feel like that's why Ten Hag is saying, is like, as much as I like you and I know you're solid defensively, I need you to be going forward a lot more, and your ball control and everything just isn't enough. So you need to be. So that's why Wan-Bissaka is going to be going to a defensive club. And I've spoken to a few journalists on Twitter, and they're saying that he's either going back to Crystal Palace, Fulham, or West Ham. They're the favourites to take him back to
London.
Back to London, yeah. But then there's also several. I mean, Kalula's shaking her head, so she might know something I don't. But there's also several clubs as well outside of the Premier League that are apparently interested in Aaron Wan-Bissaka. But
before coming to Kalula, I think she's going to touch on a few comments here about this, because Wan-Bissaka, he's definitely not being selected right now. Emma's saying, I still prefer to have the boys from the academy and give them a chance rather than buying a 19-year-old, So we know there's a few right backs in the academy. Well. We saw Gerardo the other day, and we know Ethan Lur's on loan as well. I want to say big up to Diggs BTW7. He said, hey, what's up, G? Oh, I don't know who you're referring to, but yeah, big up to you, man. Thanks for tuning in, and stop squeaking that damn toy. Hydro's in the house as well. Hydro saying good evening to all. We've got Jay as well. I did comment about your lovely picture. He said, profile pic, anniversary in Tenerife on a Dolphin cruise. Love the channel. None of that green screen clickbait. G, glory, Man United. Big up to you, Jay. Thank you for that. And finally, Mark Edmonds saying Gusto is okay as long as Malo stays. Do you agree with that, Kalula? Do you think?
I agree, Mark, completely, because the problem is that there's got to be a learning curve. If he comes to the club fresh as new, who's going to teach him? Like, he's not good enough yet. If he's a cheap signing fine. But if not, I'm saying no, because he's gonna need someone to kind of give him not just the mentality, but give him the skill. He's got to use both his feet as well. It's one of the I'm with Emma on this. I'd rather someone from the youth team than signing someone else, because one of the problems I've got with people when we sign people is not using both their feet, and that's the problem I've got with him.
Brandon Williams.
So the only thing is there, Kalula, I think Ethan Laird is a fantastic baller, right? But he's only came into form after going out on loan. Would he not be better off getting a season or two under his belt out on loan and then come back and properly content?
Then maybe we should buy him after his loan, because we need to be buying a right back that can actually do the job. Because
can I just ask you something? Do you think a striker or right back is more of the priority in January?
Right back.
But what the point I'm getting across is, Ethan Laird comes. He's like a level behind this young lad, Gusto, at the moment, and it's probably a year in experience, and game time mainly is the issue. So what I'm getting at is, regardless of how good Ethan Laird is doing at the moment, I feel he'd be rushed into the first team over.
Well, let me pose something to you. Why have we had De Gea as our main goalkeeper for so long? Because what I'm saying is that we need to stop this mentality of having someone that it can retire at any moment and leave us. We need to make sure that if we're going to get a youngling in, they've got to be ready. There's no point spending money on something I'm with Emma Kay. We need to get someone in our youth team and train them up. We can't get someone in.
Just repeat. So Emma's basically saying what Glue's saying here. I still prefer to have boys from the academy, give them a chance rather than buy a 19-year-old. And she also said here, if we don't start giving the young ones a chance now, then I don't think we ever will do. So what this is about, so we got to have a philosophy, because we're talking about Benfica and Ajax, how they develop players, bring them through and then sell them for big money and they become great stars. But something's going wrong at Old Trafford, where we buy Pellistri, doesn't get a first team game in 2 years. Ethan Laird's on loan, smashing it at QPR, but doesn't seem to. There's a big step that they have to step up to get into the first team squad. And there is some sort of aura about playing for Manchester United Football Club. Some people crumble, even the experienced pros and that kind of thing. So this guy, is this the strategy to take? Or as Dan said earlier, to compare him to Dumfries, who's playing in the World Cup and looking really well, who's ready-made to go in? What's the best way to go forward for Man United Football Club? A young guy like Gusto, or where we're going to produce him and develop him? Because the issue before was about development of players. We didn't have the coaching. We weren't developing players at the club. People were getting stale at the club. So what's the best strategy to have, guys? Let's throw it out to the group.
So for me, it's going back to our roots. Let's deal with the academy and let's train them. Because the problem is how many times we've got players, we did a show about Sancho. We do a show about all the other people. The Premier League is completely different to the Liga and all the other leagues. And for me, I feel like it's better to homegrown it than just try and grab someone to solve our problems.
Anyone else want to throw in? What's the best way going forward? Do we buy ready-made players, marquee players, what we have been doing has been successful? Or are we at the stage now where we can develop players like Gasco and bring him in? Pat and Dan, over to you guys.
Pat, do you want to take it first? Or
no, go ahead, Dan. No, go ahead.
I personally feel like Khalil, that's why I asked you the question about right back or striker in January. And I personally think a striker is much more important, because Ten Hag wanted a striker in January when he had Cristiano Ronaldo and Martial. And now we don't have Cristiano Ronaldo. We just have Martial, who's very injury prone. So now we're looking at now we need two strikers, is what Ten Hag wanted. So I was just saying that I personally feel like that the best way for United to move on in going from January is to buy a forward in January, bring back Ethan Laird on loan, see how he does for the rest of the season. And then if he is ready and he proves himself for Ten Hag, then that's when we can give the youngster a chance. But I don't think he's good enough to actually compete for the lot. So I feel like he'd have a very much role like Malacia will do.
So just two questions. Where does that leave Williams and Wan-Bissaka? Obviously, you're saying they're out. If we bring Laird back, doesn't that disrupt his whole loan experience, Kalula?
For me, I feel like the whole striker issue at Man United just shows that we don't understand fluidity. goals can be scored by anyone. We have strikers, but we need people that will adapt. It's adaptation, which is my problem. So right back, if Delort gets injured, what are we going to do? No, seriously. No,
play a striker at right back.
Put a striker in right back. We can't. That's illogical.
So I think at the moment, Kalula, the problem we have is that I'm sure Eric Ten Hag's done an assessment of youth players we have ready for positions, and he's obviously Ethan Laird's gone out on loan, and he feels that maybe it's just not the right time to be putting him into the first team. Maybe he feels that a season out on loan might do him the world of good. Now he could be bringing this, let's call it the Ajax model, to Manchester United. We could sign this Gusto fellow. We could bring him in. He could do a job for a year. We could end up making money on him and selling them off. So when they're bringing players in, they could be only bringing them in for a year with the opportunity to make money, to buy time. They'd be looking at him going, okay, we could bring him in. If he steps up to the mark, we sell that low. If he doesn't, we'll make money off him. We'll bring Ethan Laird back. But we still need a player for the time that Ethan Laird's out on loan. Well, we currently don't have a right back. So it's all about transitions and where players are at. That's all.
While you guys are bumping heads, I'm just going to go through a few comments here. Mark Edmonds saying, Laird for me is back up to Dalot. Dalot leaves. We need a 24-year-old replacement to go, ready to go. So no sort of development. Mark Edmonds also...
Can I make a comment on that last comment?
Yeah, go ahead.
With that, the answer to that would be, if Aaron Wan-Bissaka is sold and Ethan Laird comes back straight away, we won't be signing the right back. If Ethan Laird stays out on loan, then there's a good chance we could see a player of the same stature of Gusto coming in. It would all be down to Eric Ten Hag.
Dalot will be here to the end of the season, that's for sure. It's not like he's leaving in
I don't think Dalot's going anywhere.
Yeah. So Mark Edmonds saying Gakpo confirmed as being sold by PSV in January. So that seems like he's going to be on auction and bid for most clubs. Emma's saying here, we're in transition period right now. In 2 to 3 seasons, we might be in a title challenge. I don't think we will have time to really integrate them into the squad properly. Stumpy Countertop is saying City buying 90% of their team, which they actually do. It's only Phil Foden, I think they've developed, brought through. And they got Palmer as well. I think he's a fantastic left-footed player coming through the ranks right now. And so we're not City, we're different, says Emma, which we are. We've got an identity. We like to bring through youngsters. Vincent's saying here, we have strikers, but we need better strikers. We're struggling. We need to be winning, but by loads of goals. Kalula.
So that's what I wanted to go into Vincent's comment, especially. We have strikers, but they're not good enough. If Delort gets injured, we don't have the right back. So on a buying stance, we need right back. The strikers need to improve, or you sell them. That's the thing. Everyone's saying we need a striker. We have strikers.
It's not that simple though, Kalula. I feel like that with the wages that these players run, United have shown over recent seasons that selling players for these high wages and the price tags we want is impossible.
But that's why we need to be more reasonable.
Maybe we should, but then at the end of the day, look at how we sold James Garner in the summer, which was an absolute disgrace. We couldn't sell Twenzebe, we couldn't sell Williams, we couldn't sell Phil Jones. They were the players that were supposed to rank up a bit of money for Ten Hag to have.
But what I would like to pose to you is that is a problem with our club, because that should never have been a problem with our club. That's the thing. Like, people making excuses. I'm sorry to say this. If we can't sell players, if we can't sell players at the level in which we want to sell them, that means there's something wrong with our club.
That we're keeping players that aren't good enough and we're putting on stupid wages where we can't get rid of them.
Are we saying, guys? Sorry, I have to butt in. Order. Let's have some proceedings here. Do you think we're talking past tense here? Are we fixing these issues? Because this is something we've been arguing about for the last 10 years. But do you think now we're sort of making those changes and fixing things about how we sell players and how we sign players and our whole strategy going forward? Are we making major changes here? In a word.
Well, it depends what happens with the new owners. Right now, we're still the same club we were last season.
But we've got new staff coming in, and we're trying to sort of fix the infrastructure of the club in that respect by appointing in different people in staff roles who will fix these problems and make us a better club for selling and getting rid of players and not wasting money on players and we get our scouting sorted out as well. I think just to touch here, Emma's saying about Lerd. Obviously, he's a loan at QPR, but Beale has left QPR. He's gone to Rangers, isn't he? So they have an interim manager right now, and that's not going well. So I'm definitely in favour of recording Lerd. So usually, you don't want to disrupt someone leaving on loan. So I think on that note, we're going to just finish up here. Gasco, I'm just going to say I haven't spoken on him, but just quickly say I do like him. I've had a look at him for a long time now. I think he's a very talented guy, good going forward, good on the ball, good technique, exactly what we want for a right back, and got lungs, 2 lungs, probably got 4 lungs because he gets up and down that pitch a lot. If you look at the data that he presents as well, he's raged, his hot heat map is all up and down for Leon. And the thing is as well, he can do that because they give him the ball. And they give him the confidence of giving the ball because he's got such good technique and hold the ball in higher up the pitch as well. So I like him, but I don't know about his temperament. I don't know about his character, and these are things that we can't really tell as pundits here on the show. So I'm up for Gasco. And regarding Lerd coming back, I would like to keep him there just for the rest of the season, like with Ahmad Diallo, who's doing really well at the moment. And I do think right back is the most important position. So up for Gasco, and right back is definitely the most important position because we need that squad balance. Answer those, please. Thumbs up or down, guys?
Thumbs up. If Eric Ten Hag wants to go sign a running back, I would say yes.
I'm down. I think we can get someone better from our youth team.
Okay.
It's not a youth team. It's not for the youth team for me. I feel like because he's being talked about between 30 and 40 million for a 19-year-old, that's just way too much. So I would go for either someone cheaper or I would take a risk with Ethan Laird or someone from our youth team like Philip said.
We're going to end on that one. Next subject, and the last one, because we haven't got much time. Let's finish on this. Ten Hag speaks to Harry Maguire. Now, let me just read out this thing. As you know, Harry Maguire has been in the World Cup duty and done pretty well by all accounts. I don't know what you guys think. But Ten Hag wants Harry Maguire to show more confidence on the pitch. That's the headline here. We could debate this until the cows come home, but we must note that the criticism of Harry Maguire is a sign of people taking things too far because he always performs at the highest level in Gareth Southgate's side. At Man United, I'm under a lot of scrutiny, Maguire told the Times. Everything I do gets analysed. Every pass I make gets analysed. Every goal we concede is the defender's fault. Ten Hag will hope that Maguire will gain confidence from his performances in Qatar because he's likely to get opportunities. Since Rafael Varane and Martinez will stay another week in Qatar with France and Argentina. They're obviously in the semi-finals. Ten Hag stressed the importance of the skipper playing with confidence. He's really doing really well, he said. A really good World Cup, Ten Hag told The Athletic. Really consistent and a good factor in the defensive line for England. Reporters followed up with a question to quiz Ten Hag on why he wasn't playing in regular before the World Cup. The manager responded with honesty, saying that has nothing against him. I'm in a good position because they are consistent and stable, and our centre-halves are really of a high level. So he's referring to Varane and Martinez because he was asked, put on the spot, and asked why Maguire wasn't playing. And but he's saying here, with the confidence he's showing at the highest level of the game in the World Cup, he's quite happy with Harry Maguire, and he's obviously going to get games when he comes back. We're going to talk everything Harry Maguire now. I'm not going to say a word because you know I'm biased. So I'm going to start with others here. I can start with you, Kaluna, because I'll be leaving you to last. Harry Maguire, you've heard the comments there from the manager.
Right. What I will say is that he gets a lot. He gets a lot of jazz, doesn't he? Like Maguire, he's not the worst player in the world, but don't get me wrong, I call him Cement Head because he's always got his forehead right there. And in the key moments, I think he does play for England more. My controversial opinion is I don't think he should be captain. I think there's other people that would be better, but he does get a really poor judgment. I just think Maguire, he's a decent player, but is he a United player? That's my feeling.
Okay, Dan, obviously he had a decent World Cup. I don't know why I'm asking you. What do you think about his performance in the World Cup? Because Ten Hag's saying he's played well, he's got confidence playing under the England setup. What do you think about Maguire's future coming back after that? And the issue about confidence as well, because Maguire's statement there, he's saying that everything's analysed. Any little mistake is over-exaggerated by fans, by social media, by memes, and all this kind of thing. So what are your feelings now post-World Cup?
Well, I feel like Maguire goes straight back into the team, and this is only why I think this is because obviously Ten Hag's already said that Rafael Varane and Martinez will be getting an extra week off after the World Cup is over, because no doubt it will be France and Argentina in the finals. So no doubt it will be Maguire and Lindelof as the centre-backs for the Burnley game and the Nottingham Forest game, and possibly even the Wolves game. So no doubt then I feel like that Maguire will probably keep his place. And the frustrating thing is that if he improves, then I don't really care. I want every single Manchester United player to succeed. And for me, it really comes down to, can Maguire keep his form? And really, I feel like that Maguire out, and I don't know, because Maguire has been a very frustrating player for Manchester United over recent years. We can all agree on that. But is he a terrible player? No. He does shine for England, as we all see. And I put a tweet out where we were talking about that Ramos, the Portuguese striker, and apparently how he's worth 100 million now. And I put about this Ramos having one good game and apparently worth 100 million. If that's the case, then Maguire's worth every 80 million from what United paid for him. Because I feel like that a lot of United fans, as a lot of football fans, we all kind of get excited when a youngster or a player has a very good game, and we all jump on the bandwagon and quite quickly. So I'm going to be patient about Maguire, because I feel like that Ten Hag has proved that he can develop players quite easily. I mean, look at McTominay, how he's performed quite well this season. He's very improved from last season. I feel like what he's done with him. I feel like that Maguire probably will stay, and I'm not going to sit here and talk about players leaving or not, because I just feel like that I want every player to succeed for Manchester United.
I think you should back him.
That's it, really. So...
Yeah, because we haven't got long left. So just Mark Edmonds saying we should Maguire out and get in the Croatian centre back from RB. I can't pronounce the name. Gaviardo in the summer for balance. And he also says here Maguire gets a dreaded vote of confidence right now from this statement and sold in the summer, in his opinion. So what do you want to Pat? Over to you.
I think you should back him, all right. Yeah, back him out of Old Trafford. Boop boop boop. Off you go on your bike. Now look. I just have to have a bit of fun with OMONDI when it comes to Maguire. That's all it is. Look, he's our third choice centre half. Is he going to be happy sitting there for the rest of the season as third choice? I don't know, but he is the third choice centre half. Maybe even he could be on par for it could be fourth choice, but he's definitely third choice. So as long as Varane is fit, he doesn't get in the squad. So it's up to him what he wants to do this year. It's not all about him anymore.
We'll say hi to Rush Mano, giving a thumbs up. You get a high five from me, Rush. How you doing, man? Mark Edmonds made some really good points here as well. You have to read between the lines, really. And this is something that I did when I read the quote as well. Erik ten Hag went on to say that Varane and Martinez are his first choice, and there's levels. So he wasn't sort of, he was endorsing him, but not really. He was saying the right things to keep him on side. But it's about confidence, and that was a key thing Ten Hag was saying about Maguire. Emma's saying here, I'm sorry, but when can't even head the ball right, of course you get scrutinised. Our kids can direct the ball when they head it. He can't, even if he gets praised for his heading. Emma, we're going to bump heads on that one because I think he's a great header of the ball.
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
What I would like to say about what Emma's saying is that no matter what, if you like him, he hasn't got the accuracy. He doesn't. We can't lie. We've got better people that can be in the same positions as him. And I'm with Emma on that. Like, I'm not saying that he's completely bad. Like, but what I will say is that, come on, man. Maguire needs to sort his mentality out.
So, but the manager was saying about confidence. Rush Mano's here saying that Maguire will be gone this summer if he doesn't perform. So, is this window between now and the end of the season? Is this opportunity for Maguire to really show that he's got the confidence? Because the manager was saying it's all about confidence. Is this crucial for him? Just quickly before we do, I want to say hi to Lucis. How you doing? He said, can't be patient with Maguire. His entitled attitude mixed with horrid performance rules him unbearable. Varane plus the butcher, the first choice. That's a great comment there. Welcome to the show, Lucis. Is that my pronounce that right? Lucis? I was going to say Lucas, but Lucis. Welcome, man. And what a handsome profile picture as well. I'm always
handsome devil.
Yeah. Emma saying that the captain's armband is probably his biggest downfall. That's a big weight on his shoulders, isn't it? Rushmano saying last chance saloon. And
Great.
Finally, village people give better head than Maguire. Oh, oh, God. Big big up to Lucis, man. Welcome to the Man United Agenda. That's Pat, that's Dan, and this is Kalula. And welcome, man. Greetings. But yeah, so Harry Maguire, I think this is a really tough time for him. He's got to come back from that with a bit of confidence from his performances. People have praised him, even though he did make mistakes for 2 goals, I can remember. And get himself into the team and get himself established and get behind the team for a push for top 4. And if he can do that, he might be able to move, or he might be able to settle down in the squad and be a good squad player going forward. Because hopefully we have Champions League football next year. So
Omundi, can I just say something quickly? Do you remember when it was the first international break, the last international break before the World Cup started, and Maguire was on the bench, and no United fan was moaning about it? Everyone thought that Maguire belongs on the bench. We've got Varane and Martinez starting. We're all happy. And then he went, and we had the international break with England, and then Maguire suddenly got a load of abuse from what happened, and then Maguire's people and his agent and everything started pointing the finger at United fans, when it was mainly England fans who disturbed him for like with all the abuse and stuff. So I feel like that United fans all think that Maguire belongs on the bench, and then if he comes on for, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes or even 20 minutes, then I feel like that none of us really mind. I do personally feel like Varane and Martinez are the better options. But if Maguire could keep this form that he has had for England, then I feel like that he could stay here longer than everyone wants him to.
There's levels to be a centre half, and you have to be Varane, you have to be Martinez, you have to be Virgil van Dijk, and I don't think Harry Maguire has that in his locker. But that's not to say he can't be a part of our club, or
he's just not a Manchester centre back. Let's just say that.
Yeah, but yeah,
For
look,
me,
not everyone has to be a superstar.
Big pardon.
So for me, I'd have loaned him out. Sorry, I'm not. This is hard.
Loan them out to get Eaton Laird back.
I literally was set into Nottingham Forest with Henderson, with the goalkeeper and
Henderson,
What's Maguire's wage, by the way? What's Maguire's wage? I swear he's on like nearly £200,000 a week. So what would we have paid for that loan? What would we have paid for that loan?
It would have been better to loan him so that he could get some experience.
We're paying Nottingham Forest. If that was to happen, we would be paying Nottingham Forest to have Harry Maguire. So
guys, 45 minutes gone. We're going to wind it up very soon, but I'm just going to throw in a few more comments here from the guys. Emma saying it's not Maguire, it's the whole squad that has to prove something this summer. That's true, very true. There's a few contracts as well on the running down. Rushman is saying Maguire must take more responsibility as club captain and do more post-match interviews. Vince is saying Maguire doing the YMCA. No, thank you. That was from that joke earlier from Mark. I wish I would have
did not.
Emma, Eddie saying here, just by the way, big up Eddie Football Waffle. Go check out his channel. Hilarious. Big up Eddie. Love you, bro. Saying big up to Man United Jen. I'm hitting that like. Hope it's been a good show. Yeah, welcome. Go and check it out. Mark Edmonds saying if I could have one man on my side, it would be Omondi, loyalty. And I'm a great centre back as well. I'm going to post a video of my. Trust me. Check out my Twitter. I'm going to post a video when I finish the show of me performing at centre back this season.
Well, Amanda, get yourself on the team. What are you doing?
FIFA 23 doesn't count
now,
this is
right? This is my team. I'm loyal. And Montreal MEFC. That's what I'm saying. We're international. He's just jumped in. What have you missed so far? Tell him, guys, what we talked about. We talked about Gusto. We talked about Jimmy
Maguire. We talked about Jimmy Murphy.
Jimmy Murphy and Harry Maguire.
Also, Kalula just saying about
more comments here, guys. We got Eddie saying Maguire belongs in the transfer market. We did have an okay World Cup, though. He did, have an okay World Cup. Montreal saying, are we sure we're not looking for Guardiola anymore? Yes, I like him. I'm sure we all like him on the show. He's a good player. More than my favorite Dane. That's to Emma. Eddie's saying good morning to everybody. We say good morning because obviously Mark is in Australia. It's morning time there. Maguire playing golf. Martinez and Varane did this weekend. They're playing in the semi-finals. World Cup has been battling Maguire up, ready for the sell. There you go. Lamb to the slaughter. And under 21s lost 4-0. Thanks for the update there. We like to hear that. And how is Harry Maguire still club captain? England tax, as you know. Big up. Sorry, I have to read this out because it's true. On Monday, I bet you're better than Maguire. Yes, I am. 6'5", win all my headers, good on the ground, quick a few years ago, and I still got it. I can organise any defence like I organised this show. And Rushmire is saying, can Stam play in Maguire mask, please? Anyway, enough on that. Guys, we're going to wind it up now. Any last words from you guys? Any other business you want to throw out there before we shut this down?
No, that's me done for the night, lads. Thanks very much. Great channel, great comments, great panelists. Love it.
Good. Where can we find you? Kalula and Dan. Sorry, start with you, Dan. Where can we find you, mate?
You can find me on Twitter at Dan_CorfMU and my personal YouTube channel called Red Devils TV.
Red Devils TV, everyone. Make sure you go right now and subscribe to Red Devils TV. And let's support our man Dan because he's doing big things right now. And Kalula, where can we find you? Well, I'll tell you where we find Kalula. Kalula's on the Man United agenda. That's for sure.
She's part of the family.
I'm part of the family. Man United Agenda is the best channel. We all know it. And if you want to see me on other things like talking about Quality Street, getting rid of the coconut and bringing honeycomb in, I'm on TikTok. Kalula 555.
Current affairs.
And Twitter and all the jazz. But either way, thank you for having me here.
Brilliant, brilliant. Guys, don't forget, we'll be back when it's the World Cup night. Tomorrow is the semi-final. So we'll be having a show at 9 o'clock, give or take penalties and that kind of thing. And obviously we'll be back to our normal slot in time during the week, which is 8:30 after that. Because on the 21st, we're back. We're playing Burnley in the cup. So it's going to be full on, guys. And when the league's on and the cups are on, the Man United agenda is non-stop. Trust me, it's non-stop. It's raving out here. So get to know Man United agenda. Thanks for everyone for tuning in. Eddie's saying big up to everyone on the channel and the people in there, saying good night, and drop a like. And from that, we are saying good night. From me, Omundi Juma. From
Pat. I am Pat Lawless.
Has anyone been watching two Ronnies? It's a good night from me. Good night from
Pat.
Kalula.
Yeah, that was a disaster. I'm going.